Hello, hello. Thank you, Rabbi Russell. It is nice to see so many of you here to join us for our high holiday reveal. This is sort of one of those ideas like when the new networks reveal their high holiday programming for the fall. This certainly, with 77 people already here on a Sunday morning, I think this should be a new permanent ritual that we have as part of our community. I know a lot of you, and certainly a lot of us, have been thinking about the high holidays, and myself and Rabbi Russell and our whole staff here at Beth Shalom are overjoyed to be able to share with you what we have put together. And we're thrilled that so many of you are going to be joining us to hear what we have. And we also want to call upon all of you. We think what we've put together here is a collection of wonderful voices, interpretations, perspectives that will help anybody, wherever they might be, but in particular our community here in San Francisco. So if you know other people, members of our congregation, not yet members of our congregation, who are looking for a place to connect over the high holidays, I want to encourage you to share with them what we are going to be sharing with you today. Okay, so but before we begin, because this, I guess with almost 80 people here, will be a new annual ritual for us, I just would like to actually perform a little ritual. Some of you were with us before Passover, and this ritual is going to be sort of like that. So first, I want to share with you perhaps one of the most moving and meaningful letters that I received in the past couple of weeks. and I just want to read it to you here. And this letter comes from First Republic Bank, and it's just 2 lines. It says, "The payoff has been posted. The loan is closed." And that is from Barbara Cortero at the Loan Servicing Department at First Republic Bank. And so that loan that we have had on our building that we unfortunately are not able to be in at this moment has been killed. We have burnt it. And so I want to begin with a little ritual, and that's right, I've got my fireplace right here. I'm going to begin with a little ritual because I think it's important that we understand that this loan that this community has been carrying, has been working towards for maybe 15 years now, at least 15 years now, all of the work and the effort that this community has done, even in the midst of COVID, has led to this moment here. Can everybody see that? That is our shul's mortgage. And there it is.
You're blocking, Rabbi.
We can't see, Dan, because you're in the way.
Right there, that is our shul's mortgage. And there it is. Just want everybody to pay attention to, watch it burn. This is the effort of 20 years effort, started from Rabbi Lou, who conceived of a brand new building for our community, a building that showcased the best of what conservative Judaism and what Bay Area Judaism has to offer. And I just want to congratulate this community, all of those who have worked tirelessly to pay this debt off, all of those who have donated very generously to help us reach this moment.
Simon tov, mazel tov, and mazel tov, simon tov, and mazel tov, and mazel tov, simon tov, and mazel tov, simon tov. Yehei lanu, yehei lanu, yehei lanu, ulechol Yisrael. Yehei lanu, yehei lanu, ulechol Yisrael. Sorry, I couldn't help
So
myself.
we've all now witnessed that mortgage that we have taken on, that debt that we have taken on is now null and void. And I think it's significant in 2020 that just like our debt, all of those obligations, all of those promissory notes, all of those things that we have obligated ourselves to fulfill, kol nidre, all of those vows and those obligations, perhaps all of those gripes that we have had against this congregation, perhaps those disappointments that you've had against the staff members or the rabbis or the congregants, or those little fights that you've been carrying for these past years. The challenge, and of course the opportunity over this high holiday season, is to say kol nidre, all of those vows, all of those obligations, all of that bad blood or those ill will or those misgivings, they're all been burnt away. And we all get a fresh start here in 2020. So I just want to congratulate this community for being able to reach this moment. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam shechianu, v'kiyamanu, v'higianu, lazman hazeh. And now we have concluded one part of this community's history, and we're going to begin a new part. And we're very excited to tell you how to do that. And of course, it's not going to be so easy. You know, it's a lot easier to burn just a piece of paper and move forward. It's not so easy to sometimes do teshuvah, to ask for forgiveness from other people, or perhaps to give, to accept other people's forgiveness. And so we have been talking to all of you, and I know many of you have been sending us emails asking us, rabbis, are you thinking about the high holidays? We are, in fact, thinking about the high holidays. And part of our thoughts around the high holidays are, how do we cultivate an opportunity? How do we cultivate an opportunity so that each of you can enter into the high holiday season with meaning and something that speaks to you personally, and allow you to perhaps burn some of your old obligations or some of your old grudges and to move forward into this next year. And so let me, I guess, conclude with the prelude, and let's have our interim executive director, David Hartman, post up the deck that we have created to begin to share with you what we have going on. Now, the first thing I want to share is that the high holidays, the 10 days of awe, those are 10 days, but before that come an entire month of Elul. And in that month of Elul, we are going to be preparing for Rosh Hashanah. We're not just going to step into Rosh Hashanah, we're actually going to be doing some work and some practice. And one of the things that a lot of people have been saying to me is they want to get a sense and they want to find their way to experience Judaism, especially now when we can't show up in the synagogue. They want to find a way to experience Judaism at home and to learn new practices and new skills and new how-tos. And so during the month of Elul, which begins on Friday, the 21st of August, we are putting together what I think is maybe the most impressive lineup that I've ever been a part of. I think it is our obligation as members of this community not only to participate in what we're doing, because this is a whole process we're going to go through together as a community, just like putting up that building and paying off that loan was a process that we did as a community. But I also want you to share this with folks. It's hard to get the word out. It's challenging. It's different. I was going to say it's different in New York than it is in San Francisco. It's also challenging for people to come to rethink what a synagogue is. And what we've been doing, Rabbi Russell and myself, is we've been reimagining what a synagogue can be. And so sometimes you need to push people, say, yes, I know it's a synagogue, but this is San Francisco and this is Beth Shalom, and they've always been on the cutting edge. So I really would love for you to check out and maybe participate in it. Maybe you have people who are struggling and looking for meaning and to tap into community. So what we're doing here is we're going to provide multiple ways, 7 days out of the week, for people to connect beginning August 21st. And on Sunday, we are August 23rd, which is going to be the third day of Elul. You can see there every Sunday evening, the times aren't exact just yet. We're still trying to make times accessible to everyone, but every Sunday evening, we are going to be studying what I think is perhaps the most well-read book written by a rabbi in this century, and that is our rabbi of blessed memory, Alan Lew's amazing book, which details the entire flow from this coming Thursday, Tisha B'av, all the way through to Sukkot. It's called This Is Real and You Are Completely Unprepared. And you can see that on the bottom left-hand corner. And we're going to put together a book group. So perhaps, let me just say, perhaps you have people who know that you're a part of Beth Shalom and who have heard the name Rabbi Lew, but don't know too much about him beyond the name. Well, this is a chance for us to teach this community who Rabbi Lew was and why his teaching was so important and significant. And so every Sunday, we're going to be studying Rabbi Lew's book. And not only are we going to be studying Rabbi Lew's book, but we are going to be blessed with some of Rabbi Lew's closest friends and colleagues who are actually going to guide us through that book. So we already have confirmed Joan Gelfand, Norman Fisher, Rabbi Richman. They will each be trading off one Sunday to share with you a little bit about Rabbi Lew's perspective, to share stories about Rabbi Lew, and to work our way through the high holidays as Rabbi Lew had intended. So I'm very excited to share that aspect of who Beth Shalom has been and continues to be every Sunday. So if anybody wants to know about Rabbi Lew, fold them all in and get them to hear some of his friends and colleagues every Sunday throughout the month of Elul. On Monday, Rabbi Russell, who you just heard lead beautifully, is going to take us through the Machzor. So the Machzor, as you know, is the High Holiday Prayer Book. And Rabbi Russell is going to pull out some of the key prayers that we know and we love from the High Holidays. It's fine. It's fine. My wife just walked in. She's worried about the fire. It's not even going, and I dashed it with water. It's totally fine. Don't worry about it. So she's going to go through elements of the High Holidays, pick out some of our favorite songs, some of our favorite melodies, and allow us to learn how to teach it to our children, and of course, how to sing it in our own home. On Tuesday morning, we're continuing the wonderful program that is put together by our family team. I think many of you had the opportunity to watch Adam Lowy and Del Kleisley at the Friday at 4 2 weeks ago. If you haven't had the chance to watch it, please go online and check it out, because we have a wonderful family engagement team that's putting together programs for our youngest congregants every Tuesday morning. Okay, and then midday on Tuesday, we have a new offering that I'm particularly excited about, and that is going to be Midday Musar with Rabbi Ira Stone. Now, I don't know how many people here are familiar with Musar study. You should know that Rabbi Stone is the country's scholar in Musar. He is an expert on Rabbi Yisrael Salanter, which is where Musar gets its start in the 19th century. And the reason that I wanted to bring Rabbi Stone to Beth Shalom is because I heard so many of you saying, Rabbi, now that I can't go to synagogue, how do I create a spiritual practice in my own home? How do I find an approach to Judaism that I can make my own? And how do I allow for authentic and sustained connection with others on this journey? So this is what Rabbi Stone is going to provide us. He provides, through the study of Musar, an innovative and intimate and intensive spiritual practice that can enable you to transform yourselves and all of your relationships, allowing you to lead a moral life of responsible service to others. So many people have been asking me over these months, how do I serve other people? I feel privileged, people say, but I want to help. So Musar is the Jewish practice and learning and knowledge around how to do this. And it really revolves itself around the one cornerstone of our tradition, which is to love our neighbor as ourselves. And Rabbi Stone is going to lead us every Tuesday through a Musar practice, which will require work, requires journaling, just like Rabbi Lou's practice required effort. Rabbi Stone's practice will similarly require effort for us to learn how we can serve others and make our lives not solely about our own interests. So that's going to be Tuesday, and I hope you join us for that. And by the way, if you know people who are looking for, hey, I'm looking to get better in my life, I'm looking to be more helpful, I'm looking to be in service to others, but I don't know where to start, come to Rabbi Stone and invite other people to Rabbi Stone. This is I've been saying, just like Rabbi Lou's teaching was very relevant in this community in the 90s and into this century. I feel like as we go into this new era during COVID, post-COVID, I feel Musar will be something that Beth Shalom can really provide to our community. All right, on Wednesdays, I'm going to be continuing my lunch break study, but my focus is going to be God in the high holy days. Where does God come up in the high holidays? What are the images of the divine that we are confronted with? How do we feel about those images? How do we make sense of them? We're going to be discussing some of the most challenging texts that we are asked to confront, and we're going to be asking some hard questions about who God is and how do we understand and connect to God during this time period. Every Thursday morning, of course, we're going to be continuing our Parsha Shiur. We love studying Torah. We study Torah purely l'shem shamayim, purely for the sake of heaven. And if you just want to come and pray with us on Thursday mornings and just study the week's Torah portion, no obligation required. Pop in and pop out and get a little bit of Torah study to keep you going during your week. And then we have another wonderful new program every Thursday evening. I've been noticing people have been enjoying the real intricate, brainy, challenging Talmudic discourse, which the great Rabbi Dr. Noah Bickert is bringing to our community. He's been studying Masechet Yoma, which is the tractate of Talmud that concerns Yom Kippur. And we've been, for the past few weeks, and we're going to be continued discussing, what does it mean to afflict oneself on Yom Kippur? What does it mean not to, does that mean we have to go out of our way to afflict ourselves? Does that mean we abstain from certain things? What about food and drink? How is food and drink affliction? What does it mean to afflict? How much can and can't we eat? And there's these wonderful, intricate arguments that Dr. Bickard is taking us into so that we can understand, as we do Yom Kippur this year, what does it mean to fulfill our obligations, to afflict ourselves and to worship that day as our rabbis intended. Then on Friday morning, we are continually blessed to have Rabbi Dorothy Richmond participate in our high holidays again this year. Everybody loves what Rabbi Richmond brings to our community, and in thinking about what could she provide unique for this year, what could Rabbi Richmond provide unique for this year, we thought about the mystical practice of hitbodedut. So I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with hitbodedut. I imagine those of you who studied with Rabbi Lu are well aware of hitbodedut. Hitbodedut is that spiritual practice that says sometimes rote prayer, just following along in the minyan, doesn't do it, doesn't allow us to connect to the Almighty. And sometimes, like the Baal Shem Tov, we have to go out into the forest and we have to just shout at the heavens. Just let it all out. And that is a practice called hitbodedut. And some believe that that is the most real of all prayers. And so with the guidance of Rabbi Richmond, we're all going to have a chance to perhaps create a practice for ourselves that allows us to, go up and take a hike or go by one of the bridges and just shout out to God in the midst of this pandemic. So Rabbi Richmond is going to be guiding us through that. And then on Friday, we've been having a lot of success with our Kabbalat Shabbat program. Rabbi Russell has been really, even under challenging circumstances, I think, really been providing us with music, with flow and with spirit as we enter into the Shabbat. And so Rabbi Richmond was reminding, is going to continue to share her spirit. Rabbi Russell would like me to remind people that if they have questions, you can feel free to put your questions that are coming up now already in the chat. I'm sure one of the questions is, however, am I going to do all of this? Well, you're not going to do all of this. The idea is that one of the beautiful things, and I think it's the most rewarding thing about being the rabbi of this community, and in light of this current situation, the most challenging, is that we're very pluralistic. In fact, that's a part of our DNA, different approaches to tradition. It's not one path to God, many different avenues. We've got you covered. I think you know a lot of our messaging. And so what we want to do is we want to provide many different doorways in, many different avenues into our high holidays, whether that is with Rabbi Lu's teaching, whether that is with Rabbi Russell's music, whether that's with your children, whether that's asking yourself, how am I treating other people? And maybe I need to work on my own ability to care for others beyond merely my own needs. Maybe we study with Rabbi Stone. If we want to know where God is in all of this, we can study with me. If you want to really study the intricate Talmudic discourse, we have Rabbi Bickert. And if you just want to go off into the woods and cry out to God, we've got Rabbi Richmond. We have an amazing set of guides here. And all of it is in response to what you have been asking for and what Rabbi Russell and I feel is significant during this year of all years. So this is really one of the proudest I've been to put this together. These are amazing professors and teachers and rabbis, and it's a blessing to be able to bring them all into our community. Okay, so so you've got a lot to do to prepare during the month of Elul, and we're going to be with you every step of the way to prepare that. Now let's move into the high holidays themselves. Let's get to Rosh Hashanah, and let me share with you what we are going to be providing for all of you. Now, again, a lot of different people and a lot of different perspectives. So last year, the idea that we had was, could we share an alternative musical service, a traditional service, a meditative service, a family service? One of the things I was saying is, if you wanted a great musical service, you probably had to head to some other area of San Francisco. If you wanted to create a real meditative service, you'd probably have to go to Berkeley. If you wanted to create a family service, you'd have to be with us. And if you wanted to have a traditional service, you probably have to separate your members of your family into 4 different areas of the Bay Area. We wanted everyone to feel like they could be a part of our family and pray however was most comfortable for them And the idea was in that middle space in our courtyard, in between all of these services, a living middle, a real aliveness, sense of community and belonging would bubble up. And I think for those of you who were with us last year on the high holidays, you felt that. You felt that sense of belonging, whether you were out having a beer on the courtyard or whether or not you were meditating in Makom Shalom. You felt as if you were a part of what was happening. That's going to be hard to translate, and we've really given it a lot of thought as to how we can best do that. And what we're going to do is Erev Rosh Hashanah. Let's just get right to it, and I'll go through the schedule. Erev Rosh Hashanah begins on Friday, September 18th. Rosh Hashanah starts at sundown on Friday, September 18th, and we're going to create for you a live experience. We're going to have a live feed straight from our sanctuary with myself and Rabbi Russell. This will all be before sundown, so if you're not comfortable going online on the Shabbat or on the holiday, you don't have to worry. We're going to, like we do with the Kabbalat Shabbat, we're going to take you into Rosh Hashanah, and we're going to have a live experience. And I know one of the things, and thank you, one of the things that this community is interested in is hearing the rabbi's sermon, and I will be giving my sermon live on Friday, September 18th before sundown, so that everybody has an opportunity to hear it live, to experience the wonderful things that no doubt I will have to share with this community. All right, so that's Erev Rosh Hashanah. Then Rosh Hashanah morning is Saturday, September 19th. And so we're going to do something quite amazing here. We really wanted to take advantage. You know, it's interesting because in thinking about how do we create a service, one of the things that came through time and time again in that high holiday service is that sense of being together, that sense of hearing each other's voices. And so with the help of David Bayer is our head of our ritual committee, we are going to be pre-recording the entire morning service for you and delivering it to you on the eve of Rosh Hashanah via a podcast or a digital file. And by the entire service, I mean, if I could just get David Hartman to scroll 2 pages down here. David, you could just scroll, there you go. And by the entire service, I mean the entire service. So we're going to have Pesukei de Zimra and Shachrit and Torah and Haftarah and Musaf on day 1 and day 2. We're going to have the entire Torah reading. And not only that, but it's going to be chanted and led by all of you. So the people that we have come accustomed to hearing chant the Torah, lead us in our melodies. We are going to be piecing together with the help of our ritual committee a wonderful way to include everybody in the service. And so if you're interested in chanting Torah and leading a portion of our service, call and contact David Bayer at ritual@beshalomsf.org. And we're going to stitch all of these contributions together so that if you're comfortable listening to audio on the morning of Rosh Hashanah, you can hear other members of our community who will guide you and lead you through it in an audio file. Again, if you're not comfortable turning on a computer, but you are comfortable and perhaps need a little help to make your way through the service. Perhaps you're like me, you don't have much of a voice, but you want to hear some great singing. You want to hear Gary Sokol. You want to hear Marilyn Heiss. You want to hear Lou Zilber. We're going to have all of these people who are going to participate, and it's going to be a real great honor because this is something that will always be with us. In a lot of ways, what we're putting together is a snapshot of who we are as a community in 2020. You know, one of the things I've been doing since I arrived here in San Francisco is I've been going through our old documents of our former rabbis. I've been looking through articles and photographs and papers. There's some of it exists, but a lot of it hasn't been recorded, hasn't been saved. And the reason for that is it often happens over the holidays or over Shabbat. This year, just because of the circumstances, we have a unique experience to really record and to document and to share so that the rabbi who is here 50 years from now, she's able to look back at what we did 20 years ago and able to share that with the community and say, this is who we were in 2020 in the midst of a pandemic. These are who led this community. And so if you'd like to be part of that group, I want to encourage you to email David Bayer at ritual@beshalom.org. Now, if we could just go back to that Rosh Hashanah page, 2 pages up, I'm super excited about that. Now, we are also going to provide 4 video experiences, 4 experiences that speak to the services that we have offered traditionally in our community. So we're going to have one traditional experience that Rabbi Russell and I are going to provide. We're going to have one mindful experience that is going to be provided by Rabbi Russell and Rabbi Richmond. We're going to have one alternative music series that Jeremiah Lockwood and myself are going to be putting together. And we're going to have family programming that Adam and Dale and Catherine are going to put together. 2 sets of programming, one for those who are younger than kindergartners and one for those who are older than kindergartners. And I have much more information here. If you're interested, I can go into a little bit about what we're going to be doing. Of course, Rabbi Russell and I are going to be providing, I would say, about an hour-long experience for everyone to hear the highlights of the traditional service, to see Rabbi Russell chanting it, to see us wearing our kittles, and to be led through an abbreviated. If you want the full service, all of that is going to be in the audio, but if you want an abbreviated service, I know it's really hard to sit through in front of a camera. We're going to really focus on the highlights and the memorable music so that those who want to experience that on Rosh Hashanah are still able to hear it. Myself and Jeremiah Lockwood are going to be joined by Thierry Odabi, who no doubt you remember, who's been joining us over these past years to provide us with some songs from the African-American tradition. Julia Eisenberg is also going to be joining us, if you recall her from last year, as well as wonderful musicians. And we're going to be providing you with some of that great spirit music that so many of you have come to love as part of our Listen program. And then if I can just ask Rabbi Russell, because she has been working with Rabbi Richmond to prepare these mindfulness experiences.
Sure. So Rabbi Richmond and I have been preparing something similar to what she's been doing in the past, but with a lot of added music, a lot of listening, some meditation, some self-reflection, and really to sort of piggyback on what she's going to be teaching during the month of Elul, also some practice, personal practice. And so we have been working really to bring all of those pieces together. We got some really lovely feedback that people like to hear us sing together. So we're going to be singing together, some alone and then some duets. So I'm really looking forward to working with her and to bringing that experience here.
Yeah, and again, these experiences will be about an hour long. So we're not going to have you sit in front of a screen for 3 hours. You also are not obligated to view this experience on the holiday if you don't want to, but we're providing it to you so that you can have a flavor of it in the time that we have just determined it's just not safe for us at the moment to be gathering in our synagogue. And then on the second day of Rosh Hashanah, we are going to pre-record the audio. So if you want to do all of the liturgy, if you want to hear the second day Haftarah, the second day Torah reading, we're going to be providing that with all of you. And hopefully we have enough volunteers that will be able to provide you with different voices for Shacharit, Pezukei Zimra as well. And then this is a new addition. Hopefully we will still be able to do this by the city. We're going to be creating family program at Mountain Lake Park, which is really a Rosh Hashanah in nature with social distancing, with safety precautions. We're going to set up as a community in Mountain Park and just have different walking stations that people will be able to walk through with their families to experience it. I'll be blowing the shofar in a very safe way for people to hear it. There'll be music with Jonathan Bayer. There'll be storytelling with Catherine Barboni. There'll be ephemeral art with Adam Lowy, and Apples and Honey with Dale Kleisley. So that'll be a wonderful opportunity for our families to get together and to celebrate on Sunday, the second day of Rosh Hashanah. If we turn the page now to the following week, we're going to see Kol Nidre and Yom Kippur. So the first thing is our Yizkor service. We want to make sure that everyone is able to attend Yizkor. So our Yizkor service, which has also been getting we've been working pretty well, I would say, is going to happen on the Sunday morning, September 27th, probably around 10 a.m. in the morning. As we have done previously, we're going to gather as a community on Zoom, and we're going to have the opportunity to hear the Al Maleh chanted by Rabbi Russell and to give our prayers to those loved ones, as we have always been doing over Yom Kippur. And then later on that Sunday, as we head into Kol Nidre, we're going to follow a very similar model for what we followed for Erev Rosh Hashanah. We're going to create a live experience, live feed, straight from our sanctuary, myself and Rabbi Russell. And perhaps we'll have some other people who will be joining us as well. And this will be the opportunity. Again, before sundown, you can hear the Kol Nidre chanted by Rabbi Russell. You will hear my Kol Nidre sermon, which I will deliver live before sundown. You will also hear from our new president of our community. And hopefully we can create that same sort of ruach and spirit that encourages people to give and to continue to support our community and to reconnect with what's most important on that evening of Kol Nidre. And then after sun goes down, we are going to be providing a late Kol Nidre experience for people. This is going to be led by myself and Jeremiah Lockwood. We had wonderful attendance last year for our late Kol Nidre. Again, that is going to be with Tiri Odabi and the musicians that Jeremiah is going to bring. If you've never heard Jeremiah play the Kol Nidre with an electric guitar, this is the opportunity to really feel that. And that's going to be our late Kol Nidre experience that we are going to be providing to everyone. And then on the morning of Yom Kippur, we're going to do the same thing that we did on Rosh Hashanah. So everyone who would like to participate, we're going to have an audio feed. We're going to be creating baskets, which I'll get into in a little bit, which will deliver machzors to your home. And you can just listen to the entire Yom Kippur service with all of your leaders that you are familiar with. You can hear Marilyn chant the Torah. You will get to hear Betty chant the Haftarah. Hopefully we'll continue to be able to hear those voices. And if we need help getting through that, I think Yom Kippur is going to be really long this year. I think Yom Kippur is often best expressed being in community and not counting the time. I think that's going to be particularly challenging. And so we're going to be providing you with the audio version to lead you through the morning service. And then we're also, just like Rosh Hashanah, going to be providing 4 video experiences for people to see myself and Rabbi Russell leading, again, an abbreviated Yom Kippur service, Rabbi Richmond and Rabbi Russell leading an intentional mindfulness service, myself and the musicians and Jeremiah Lockwood leading an alternative musical service, and more family programming as well. And if we turn the page here, one more page, we now are going to ask you all to fill out a high holiday survey. So these are a lot of offerings, and when we are asking for your participation, but we're also going to have questions like, for example, how many machzors are you going to need? And what other sort of things will you be able to pick up a package? We're going to be delivering packages for high holiday services. Will you be able to pick up a package? How will you, what are the other things that you need? So if you can just look in the chat, we have now in the chat a Google form, and I'm just going to take a moment. I'm not going to say anything while everyone goes to their chat and clicks on that form that David has just posted. There'll be plenty of time for questions, so don't worry, we're not going anywhere. But I do want to take a few moments because I want to encourage everyone, while I have 93 people on this phone call, to encourage everyone to fill out that survey, because we're going to need that data. We're going to need that data to make sure that we can best serve everyone in the community. And while you're filling out that survey, I just want to say one thing about how we're doing all of this. So certainly this is expansive. There's no question about it. And as you know, as you might be aware, we're not going to be able to sell tickets. We're not going to be able to sell tickets to guests and to all those members of our community. Kol Nidre, I think perhaps in this year of COVID, is going to be more important than ever. So I just want you to know that we are definitely going to ask all of you to share this and to support what we're going to be doing, because we think it's vitally important for our community and for our city. All right, so everyone should continue. If you finished at the survey, just write in the chat, finished. Just let me know that you finished, so I know that people have done the survey. We want the data.
Rabbi, we do have a question. What is happening for Nila?
So Ne'ilah, obviously there's probably no experience that we can recreate. No experience harder to recreate than the experience of Ne'ilah. I mean, since I arrived here 24 months ago, I can't tell you how many times people have said to me the most meaningful part of the high holiday services is the Ne'ilah service, in which Rabbi Richmond and Rabbi Russell and our DLC sing together, in which the high holidays service sanctuary is full, and the sun is setting. I think it's a beautiful moment. It's very challenging to recreate. So what we're going to be providing is audio liturgy for everyone to experience and to hear the mincha and the Ne'ilah service. So if you're at your home, and to follow along with the mincha and Ne'ilah, you will have the audio that you can listen along with your machzor. And we also, Rabbi Russell and myself, are going to be providing experiences that you can also view. If that is your practice, you can view those experiences either with myself and Rabbi Russell, or alternatively with myself and Jeremiah Lockwood. We're going to be providing Ne'ilah experiences for everyone. Now, one of the things we are going to be doing, and there's more coming from our board and our membership efforts, but we're going to be gathering people and encouraging people to gather. So one of the ways that I'm hoping people do gather is after Ne'ilah concludes, people begin to assemble breakfasts and invite other people to attend their breakfasts, as you might when people are coming over to your house for your breakfast. Invite those same people, and do me a favor, invite a couple of others, and invite them to come and to do a Zoom with you after the sundown on Yom Kippur, after Ne'ilah has closed, and to participate in a chat about how this experience was for all of you immediately following Ne'ilah. All right, let me see what else I have. I think that's a lot. I think that's a lot. Yeah, any questions? We're here to take questions, so please.
Yeah, we do have one more, Rabbi. A couple folks asking what we're doing for Tashlich.
Okay, so Tashlich is one of our challenges. Because it's hard to ask people to gather. So we have a few ideas around Tashlich. And again, I think we all understand at this point that the situation with COVID is very fluid. So we have a few ideas around Tashlich. One is to ask people to gather at different beaches in the intermediate days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, maybe gather in groups of 10 or in groups of 12 to do Tashlich. But as we started to prepare that, and hopefully we can put that together, we're also realizing that some people just probably don't feel safe in that context, and even gathering even with 10 to 12 people. And so we've asked our brand new lifelong learning Mora Derech, Adam Lowy, and if you haven't had a chance to meet Adam Lowy, email Adam Lowy, ALOWY, at bestshalomsf.org. Say hi. He is our lifelong learning Mora Derech, which means he is our guide. No matter what age you are, he will help guide you and find your own Jewish and spiritual path. And so he's going to be providing a how-to Tashlich video for everybody in our community. So you take your iPhone, you go up to a beach, a body of water, and we're going to provide with you something that you can watch as you do your Tashlich if you're not comfortable gathering in groups of 10 or in groups of 12. So we have thought about Tashlich. It's very important to us that we have that physical. It's hard to do Tashlich on a computer, right? You throw it and you hit the screen. We want to have an experience of throwing all that stuff away. I think it was very cathartic for a lot of us to see that mortgage burn. We want to have that same sort of catharsis. And so Adam is going to create sources and videos to help us make that happen. Are there any other questions?
Rabbi, what opportunities will there be to hear the shofar?
Yeah, so this is currently a work in progress. And one of the things is we have a couple of volunteers who are going to be working with us to allow you to buy a shofar. So one of the things they say is the most dangerous of all COVID activities is blowing the shofar. They say that spreads the most particles, unfortunately. And so like we're going to do with the holiday of Sukkot, where we can't actually hand each other our lulav and etrog, we're going to encourage people to own this mitzvah as their own. And so one of our Zooms during the month of Elul will take place in hopefully Dayenu, where we'll have an opportunity to purchase our own shofar. We'll have an opportunity to learn how to blow our own shofarot. And hopefully we'll be able to create different people throughout the city as we get closer to Rosh Hashanah who have the capacity to go outside during certain parts of the day and blow the shofar. So there is a little headache a little bit here with the shofar, because traditionally you're supposed to hear the actual sound that comes out of the shofar. And doing it online doesn't really quite do it. So we're going to try to provide as many opportunities for everyone to be able to hear from the shofar itself. If someone could just mute themselves, I'm getting a little feedback here. So we can hear from the shofar, and also hopefully people will be able to attend on the second day. So we don't blow the shofar, interestingly, on the first day of Rosh Hashanah this year, because it is Shabbat, and traditionally we don't blow the shofar on Shabbat. So we wouldn't be hearing it anyway, even if we were all gathering in the sanctuary. Isn't that sort of perfect? I was thinking about that in terms of my remarks for the high holidays. It's just perfect that this is the year in which the shofar blast, the thing we want so much, is not blown. But on the second day of Rosh Hashanah, we do get to hear it. And so I'm going to be out in the park blowing the shofar, and I imagine that I'll be in other places for people who want to hear it. That's a great question. Any others, David?
Will sermons be part of the video recordings?
So the sermons are going to be provided pre-recorded. I am going to be giving my sermons live because I think we really want to have that experience of hearing a sermon live. I did my take-home Torah. If I told you how many takes my take-home Torah took, it's hard to give a sermon and record it, especially if you know no one's listening there at that moment. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give my sermon on Rosh Hashanah and on Kol Nidre. I'm going to give them live, and then we're going to edit it up and provide it for those people who couldn't view it live. We're going to also put it with our other high holiday content. In addition, it's not just me who you're going to be hearing sermons from. Rabbi Russell, Rabbi Richmond, Rabbi Stone, all of these, we're going to have more than just sermons from me that you'll be able to listen to over the high holidays. But the 2 community sermons given by your senior rabbi will be live on Erev Rosh Hashanah and live on right before Kol Nidre, and we'll clip those sermons and make sure people can watch them throughout the holidays. All right. Yeah, so that's what we've given a lot of thought. And I hope that you can appreciate the blessings that we have to be part of this community. And I've been thinking about, look at what we have here. I think about the state that some other synagogues are in, some other communities are struggling with at the moment. If you think about JCCs across the country, other Jewish establishments, businesses, small businesses struggling to stay afloat. Here we are, we have just paid off our debt as a community. We're almost gathered, almost 100 people here to see this amazing offerings that we've been around for 100 years, and we can provide this to our city in a time of great need. And that's why we're really asking you to tell your friends and your family that this is happening. Perhaps you haven't shared a Beth Shalom in the past. Now is the time, especially if you talk to people who are struggling. We are in a very unique position, and we're blessed to have a wonderful history, a wonderful group of rabbis and leaders who can put something like this together to serve us. And by the way, the beautiful part about all these classes, it's kind of amazing, is they'll be recorded. So if, some people have said to me, Rabbi, I'm working 6 days out of the week. The only day I have is Shabbat. Wonderful. You'll have 6 hours worth of content and teaching and music and take-home Torah to experience on that day, if that's the day that you choose to participate in it. We're going to help lead everyone here in the way that makes the most sense for them. And we want more people to know about it. So I'm creating content. I'll share with you the big reveal here. We're still working on it. We wanted to share all of this with you first, because this is for you. This is for our community. This is the community that has sustained us for 100 years. We're beginning with your concerns and your needs, but we also feel we have a larger calling that we have to the wider world, and we want to help spread that out. And so we have titled the theme for these high holidays, "The Psalm Remains the Same." So the world has changed, our technology has changed, it is totally different, but that psalm, that song in our hearts, that feeling that connects all of us, what we are looking for during these high holidays, that remains the same. And so we are going to express that basic psalm, which is a part of our tradition that we're returning to through Teshuvah in a whole myriad of different ways this year. But yet what is in our hearts and the connections between all of us will stay the same. Another thing is you can choose one day a week when you will sign online with CBS. As I was saying, choose the day that you want to come. And if, by the way, a lot of you have said to me, you want a personal practice to be better in this world and to help with the privilege that we have. How do we learn to care and to change our hearts? The Musar practice is a wonderful, through journaling and through study, it's a way to change all of our hearts and to put some of those past gripes and past disagreements and struggles behind us so that we can move forward together as a community into this new world of ours. Finally, the last reminder is please stay in touch. I miss a lot of you. There are a lot of you who I see very regularly on our teachings and in our classes. And there are a lot of you who email me all the time and who want to set up meetings. But there are also a great number of you who we don't hear from and who don't know when or if you should be reaching out to us. You should always be reaching out to us. We are here. It's hard to communicate when we can't get together. And so we don't know what we don't know. So please stay in touch. We miss you. And we want to encourage and support you throughout this high holy day season, which is so significant to us as a community and as a people. And I think we're going to close with that. So I just want to thank all of you for coming. I'm excited by how many people were on this call. And I'm even more excited because I know all of you are going to reach out to 5 or 8 friends and tell them you won't believe what Beth Shalom has put together. They've got all of us covered here in the city. Participate, join this community, and really be a part of these high holy days with us and be a part of this new era that we are moving into of Judaism together. So we're going to close here with Rabbi Russell, who is going to chant us with a nigun. And just a reminder that we are here for you, so don't hesitate to reach out. Good vach.
I just want to also take this opportunity to highlight Tisha B'av, which is coming up this week as sort of the start to our programs and what's happening as we head towards the high holiday. Sorry, I just realized I was muted. I just want to take one moment to highlight Tisha B'av also, which is coming up this Wednesday evening as sort of the start to our high holiday programs. As Rabbi Ain mentioned, Rabbi Lou's book starts with Tisha B'av, and so we're going to move into that together this Wednesday evening at 6:30. Marilyn Heiss will be teaching a shiur at 6:30 on Zoom, followed by a community reading of Eicha at 8 p.m., which you can find on Facebook Live. We realize that this is the one holiday where we're actually not supposed to see one another and not supposed to greet one another. And so the readers will be on Zoom, but we will be sort of broadcasting out so that it's just a watching and listening opportunity for the community. That's at 8 p.m. on Wednesday evening. And then on Thursday morning, we'll have our regular 7:30 morning minyan, followed by a shiur that Rabbi Ain is teaching with a scholar named Gabrielle, I believe her last name is Berkner, and she is the co-author of a book called Modern Loss. So she and Rabbi Ain will be in dialogue about what loss is in this time and today and how we experience loss. So I encourage you to join us at any of those offerings, again, beginning 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, 8 p.m., and then 7:30 a.m. and 9 a.m. the following morning on Thursday. Thank you again all for being here. We're looking forward to sharing the next few weeks together. Everyone, ya na ya na 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 ya ya na na ay ya na na ya na 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 ay ya 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 ay na ya ya na na ya ya na na ya na 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 ya na 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 ay ya na 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 ay ya ya na na ya na 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 ya na 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 ya na 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 ay ya na 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 ay na ya ya na na ya na 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 ay na 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 ya na 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 ya na na ya na na na. Shavua Tov. Thank you again.